This video is an introduction to Qt Quick and GUI programming with Qt. I will start by clarifying the difference between QML, Qt Quick, and Qt Widgets. Then I will explain why I chose Qt Quick over the Qt Widgets for this series. And finally, we will write a few lines of code in QML language so that you will see your first self-made GUI. In the last videos, we explored the basics of Qt, but only with the console up. From now on, I want to make examples in UI, so that as the series goes on, you practice the skills of making user interfaces with new tools. I just want you to use Qt core functionality together with Qt Quick. Let's start by answering the following question. What is QML? QML, by the way, it means Qt modeling language. It's a declarative programming language designed to define user interfaces. Declarative means that it focuses on the goal, in this case describing what the UI should look like and how it behaves, rather than how the goal should be achieved. JavaScript is the subset of the language, so you can add logic and interactivity to your QML components. If you're familiar with JS, there won't be any problems with starting to write QML code. Let's explore an example of QML usage. The code consists of two key items, rectangle and text. Each item has its own set of properties inside, for example, width, height, text, etc. And here's how it looks like, you see. This example demonstrates how the structure of QML language looks like. And additionally, QML allows you to define signals and slots to integrate JS, adding interactivity and functionality. So as you see here, you have some items, for example, a rectangle. Well, you know what rectangle is, and have some properties, for example, width, height, color, and so on, so on. So it means the declarative language, like you declare what you want to see. QML language is used with Qt Quick. So what is it, and how are they related? Qt Quick is the UI framework that powers QML. It provides a rich set of tools for building UIs, and it works nicely with embedded and mobile platforms also. Qt Quick is easy to style, customize, and animate, and that's great. Look at the previous example, okay? As I said before, rectangle and text are items that help you build your UI. But these items are really coming from Qt Quick. And firstly, you should import Qt Quick in your code in order to use them. The conclusion comes out of this is that QML is a module that provides engine and language infrastructure. Meanwhile, the Qt Quick module provides all the basic types necessary for creating user interfaces with QML. With the help of Qt Quick types, you can create and animate visual components, receive user input, and just build modern UI. See here, you have a bunch of items that you can add to your QML code. Think of QML and Qt Quick like this. QML is the script you write to describe the UI. It's like HTML on web page or the blueprint, you know. And Qt Quick is the library that provides the actual elements and functionality. It's like CSS and JS frameworks in web development, or just toolbox and materials. By the way, you can also create your own items. Technically, self-defined items were created using QML, but powered by Qt Quick. And it is also possible to make items using C++, and in most cases, it's a preferable option. And I will show you in more details about that in later episodes, so don't worry. And we'll make our components with QML, we'll make our items with C++, and you will see how it's done. And then it is also possible to integrate those items from C++, for example, or some data from C++ to the QML. And That is great. You can later use this in your QtQuick items. And now see, there are really two ways of building GUI in Qt. First is Qt Quick, and as you see here, examples of application made with those two ways. Qt Quick is modern, customizable tool with many features, and it is better for big and custom projects. Meanwhile, Qt Widgets, it's older, hard to customize, but the main advantage is that it comes with many items that look natively for the desktop platforms. So you don't need to write a lot of code to make your application look natively for all platforms, and you have many like components, many items to use inside. And now we have the third element of today's topic, Qt Widgets. What is it? What is it? And why did I choose Qt Quick for the series? Qt Widgets provides a set of UI elements to create classic desktop-style user interfaces. It is an older way to make GUIs on a desktop. Using this approach, we get plenty of controls that are adjusted to different platforms to look natively. Mostly, widgets are general, and many things have been already coded for you. But this approach also has such disadvantages as difficulty in styling and animating, it's horrible looking widgets on mobile platforms, and less opportunities to make something unique rather than just classical looking application. When you develop applications with Qt widgets, you don't use anything like QML. The code is written in C++, and the visual part is done with the Qt Widgets designer, which uses what you see is what you get, or simply receive approach. To summarize the difference between Qt Quick and Qt Widgets, I have this table. So Qt Quick is easy and flexible in styling, rich and customizable animation, platforms embedded and mobile, and also desktop. Here, I mean, embedded and mobile is possible. And language used is QML. Qt widgets are hard to style, it's limited in animation. Platforms, in most scenarios, you'll use it only on desktop. There probably, I mean, there are chances you can use it on embedded on mobile, but rather just on desktop. And language used is C++. And like understand it right, because in QtQuick you like also use C++ to define something, but in Qt Widgets like you make everything with also this structure that I showed you earlier in QML when you write some items. When you use Qt Quick, you separate your parts and you can create, for example, your items, some custom items in C++ and provide them in Qt Quick. But in Qt Widgets, you make everything in C++. I will use Qt Quick in series because it is more modern and gives us more flexibility. Nowadays, most companies that are using or starting to use Qt prefer Qt Quick. Now let's create your first GUI app with Qt. As always, go ahead, click at Create Project, then select Qt Quick application, because earlier you selected Qt console, now Qt Quick application. Choose, title it something, I'll name it video, as always. Next, finish. You're going to see the default code generated for you in the QML. Delete this input panel because we don't want it right now. We now want something more simple. And you also can delete this import. And for this basic structure, it's just a window. And if you run the application, but I sorry, now I increased the scale. If you run the application, you can see, now you'll see the window with a width of 640 pixels and height 480 pixels. And the title, Hello World. Everything you see is defined in your code. And that is the beauty of declarative language. And now let's quickly go through the project structure because we have a slightly different configuration in CMake list from the previous one with the console app. And there is also a new code in the main to display UI. See here, you have some another stuff, and in main you also have some new code made for you. And I opened two projects. Is one from the previous tutorial. It's console app and our here. So I will just compare CMake lists file. In console app, for example, let's start here. We used to find a package here with the core, but in the new application here we also use it. We include finding package quick, but it implicitly includes the core module as well, and we don't need to find those two packages because it just implicitly imports also the core. If you take a look at documentation, here you see what modules we have. They're essential ones, so you see. For example, we have Qt Core, Qt QML, Qt Quick, Qt GUI, and so on. So let's add some comment so you remember. By the way, in CMake you make comments like this, like in Python. Implicitly includes the core module. And then there's also some unknown for us call to function Qt standard project setup. What it does, it's here, as you see the difference, here you have something like this to enable mock and to set some properties. And really what it does, it sets those all variables for us, and it also makes a couple of other configurations, so don't replace it with what you have in your console app. Don't replace it. I mean, it will work, but in the long term it will cause you some problems because it also configures some things related to files, and all this includes stuff. So it just helps to configure your project. Despite add Qt add executable, because here you have only Qt, only Qt, not Qt, but just add executable. Despite that, you also have a Qt add QML module. This command defines a QML module that can consist of, for example, C++ sources, QML files, media files, and many other stuff that we will use in later episodes. And then after you add it here, you can use it in your QML code. So if you want to drop some image in your code to make it visible in GUI, you probably gonna need to add it here with this command and then use it with QML. And then set target properties. Set some properties on a specified target to affect how it gets built on different platforms. So let's also comment affect how it gets built on different platforms. And for example, just you set something that is need for macOS, for Windows, and so on. You can find in documentation what every property mean and how it affects the process of building different application for different platforms. I want to close it, okay, because I don't need this console app application from previous episode. And in main CPP, you also got this new chunk of code. And let's break down this step by step what is happening here. So firstly, the QML, also here you have inputs, of course, and QML application engine is used to load and manage QML components in your application. For example, as you made here, and it also, if you want to, I don't know, integrate some C++ code to QML, you will also need to use it, okay? And then we are setting up a signal slot connection for error handling. This signal here, object creation failed, is, as you probably guess, emitted if the engine fails to create the root QML object. For example, due to missing files or errors in your QML code. We provide lambda in the slot. Here we have a lambda function that exits with the code -1 if creation is failed from the application, setting up a signal slot connection for error handling. And then we have engine load module and name of our project and main. Here we also have main QML file. And by the way, Qt connection is used for thread safety. We'll talk about it in later episodes about multi-threaded applications, but now just know that it used for thread safety. Let's also add it somewhere. It's used for thread safety. And finally, as I said, we have this loading. This method loads a QML module that was registered previously here. Here we registered QML files, main QML, and now we can use it in this method. Method loads a QML module, name it tutorial 7 video, and searches for a QML file named the main QML within that module. If the main QML is found and successfully loaded, its root object becomes the main UI of the application. So let's QML module. We will now write a minimal app that displays a welcome message and a button. Clicking the button changes the message, this one, hello world, to something else. Of course, full code is in the GitHub repository, link in the description below. You can take a look or download and whatever. Let's go to the editor. First of all, let's go to main QML, change the identifier window to root because it is more convenient name for this element, and I also want to change this hello world to welcome app without this function we used before, QSTR. Because this function is used for internationalization, and for now it is not important for us because we write just simple application. Then let's make this text you saw on the top. I will just copy and paste to not take your time, because in previous episodes I coded everything, live coded, but I think if I just paste small chunks of code, it would be faster and I won't just spend your time on my writing. So here what we have, text, just welcome to Qt Quick. I made the font bigger and provide pixel size 24. To locate the item on the window, we use anchors, these anchors. In this case, I am taking the horizontal center and top position from the root and shift it in text on 20 pixels to the bottom. So here, as a horizontal center, where its center of my element is text, I take parent. This means that like this root, and the horizontal center from it. So my text will be at this horizontal center of the window. Then as the top, I also take parent top. So my text gonna be on the top of the window and on the center. And then I make this margin 20 pixels. So it is not just right on the top, but have some margin also. Let's see. Save all. Let's see what how it looks like. And you see, as I said, horizontal center, top of the window, and small margin, so it looks more beautiful. Fine. The next text item is the one that will be changed later. So I also added here an ID to it. Welcome message. We provide ID because later when button will be clicked, we're gonna change this. So we got to find this item. For example, here I used parent, but I can also use root. Okay, there's no problem. But when you can use parent. Okay, then text hello world default one. Make pixel size. I make font size a bit bigger, and I center it in the parent. As you see, I didn't use horizontal center or something. I just center in because we wanted to put on right on the center of our window. Here we have it. Right. And the button on the bottom of the page is located similarly to the top text, but with the margin from the bottom. So let me copy and paste it just. Here I have rectangle. There is no really such thing as button here, so you just make rectangle. But it is easy to style, don't worry, it's not some cumbersome stuff. So here you have rectangle, and imagine that this is just a button. I'll show you how you can handle on click event. So width, yeah, I set width, height, color, border radius. So our border is gonna be like rounded. Center it on horizontal, then put it to the bottom and make some margin from the bottom. If you take a look, I have this kind of button. Then I also want to add some text inside it. Of course, I can nest my items. And here text, click me, color, and center in parent. In this case, parent gonna be rectangle, not the window. Okay. I mean, if you are familiar with CSS and like with a little bit web development, it won't be any problem for you. And here we have click me, but if I click, nothing is happened. So I have to add event. Also inside a rectangle, I add mouse area. Mouse area just helps us to make some events with the click. It can be on clicked, on hover, and someone will explore more later. Uncross fill parent, it just means that this item fills all the rectangle, full rectangle. And on clicked, as you see, the code inside on clicked event is just JavaScript, and we just provide this method. I mean, not method, like what we're making when someone clicks it. And on clicked, let's say if you got click me. If I click, you click the button. Fine. And you can do something with on hover and so on. Just to show you that it is just JavaScript, I can write something like this. console log, click. And now look at the application output. If I click here, I also have a message from the QML. Click, click, click. So console log just outputs it in our application output. As you see, it is not hard to implement this kind of application. It was pretty easy. I just used Qt Quick items, and you can build bigger and bigger applications. Okay, to wrap up your knowledge, QML and Qt Quick simplify modern UI development. Qt Quick offers flexibility and animations, and we'll explore, of course, more advanced features in upcoming episode. Okay, and I think this is it for today. Thanks you for watching, and I hope you like this introduction to QML and Qt Quick. So see you in the next episode. Thanks you for watching.